1v1 group pet relaxed sweetness, Yin and Chu are fake daughters of gold. That day, she was kicked out of the house, and the true daughter returned to her position. A bright black Rolls Royce took Yin Chu away, and from then on, the downfall life that everyone had imagined never happened. Yin Chu was greatly favored. Yin Chu and the President of D.K Group had dinner together, and President Junmei personally served her. I am her brother. Yin Chu entered the super-popular actor's villa late at night and stayed up all night. I am her brother. Famous domestic and foreign professors discover new asteroids and name them after Yin Chu. I am her brother. At the S10 Global Finals, the champion, Yin, was the first to embrace Yin Chu after the competition. I am her brother. The last beautiful young man of the 21st century live-streamed playing Little Stars for Yin Chu. I am her brother. Passerby. Fall. How many good brothers do you really have? Later, someone captured Yin Chu and the Crown Prince of M Foundation shopping together, drinking the same cup of milk tea with intimate behavior. Netizen. Stay calm. This is her brother, this must also be her brother. The Crown Prince said, sorry, I am her beloved brother. Keywords of the novel. Being favored by 5 big brothers without pop-ups, being favored by 5 big brothers and being favored by 5 big brothers and being favored by the heavens. Download the complete set of TXT, and being favored by 5 big brothers and being favored by the heavens. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. The First Brother. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. The First Brother. The scorching sun shines in the sky, scorching like fire. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when the temperature was at its hottest, the road was sparsely populated, but there was a girl carrying a bunny bag and walking briskly. She never even took an umbrella, and the brilliant sunlight spread all over her body, casting a layer of holy radiance over her porcelain white and creamy skin. The girl looked at her age of only 16 or 17, with delicate and beautiful eyebrows and eyes, black pupils and red lips, and high bunches of black hair. As she walked, her mint green skirt swayed slightly. In the scorching summer, she is the only cool path. On both sides of the road, many people were already caught in her sight in the coffee shops. Not far away, in a Rolls Royce. Is it her? The man in the rear seat has a cold and dignified appearance, and even his casual sitting posture reveals a sense of being a high-ranking official. At this moment, his deep gaze was falling on the girl walking towards him. Yes, boss. Special assistance for rapid return. She is Miss Yin Chu. The investigation shows that Miss Yin Chu has been raised in the Yin family for over a decade, and the other party has not mistreated Miss Yin Chu materially. Half a month ago, the true daughter of the Yin family was found back. All of this had caused some commotion in this city before, but Miss Yin Chu and that person didn't seem to get along very well afterwards. Until this morning, the Yin family finally made up their mind to expel Miss Yin Chu from the house in order to protect their biological daughter. The man whispered, his gaze always fixed on the girl. To be more specific, we will wait for you to have a parent-child test with the boss. No need. The man interrupted his assistant's words and walked out of the car. Before leaving, he hesitated a bit and picked up the black sunshade umbrella that was placed on the side. Schwa, with one thrust, the 5 fingers holding the umbrella handle were slender, with distinct joints and roots like jade. The man is tall with a narrow waist and long legs. Holding an umbrella, he walked up to the girl in front of her within a few steps. A sudden shadow fell ahead, and Yin Chu instinctively looked up and met the handsome and divine face of the noble man. Is this blocking the way? The CEO's pace was so indifferent, even though it was the other party's initiative to bump into him, Yin Chu still gave way to the side with a good temper. The man chased after him. Yin Chu retreated again. The man is chasing again. Retreat again. Chase again. What a duet. Yin Chu also understood that he was here to find himself. When she looked up again, the girl's previously appreciative expression changed and she confidently said. I am very poor. I have no money in cash, WeChat, Alipay, and QQ wallet. My mobile phone has no power, so I don't want to borrow it. After a pause, I don't play WeChat. The special assistant behind me was stunned. Is this treating our CEO as a conversation starter? Bo Jingchuan's expression remained unchanged. I don't borrow money, I don't need to make phone calls, and I don't have a hobby of asking people for WeChat signals on the street. Bo Jingchuan also looked at Yin Chu. I won't harm the flowers of my motherland yet. Yin Chu was stunned for a moment. So. The girl's voice is delicate and pretty, especially when speaking with a long tail, as if she is acting coquettishly. Strange. Cute. Sorry about that. Well, if you know your mistake, just change it. Special assistance. Not really. It's too easy to talk about your CEO intentionally picking faults and ignoring it like this. You go first. Yin Chu moved to the side again. But she is prepared to let it go. The wicked capitalists always have countless reasons to find fault with those around them. I'm here to find you, said Bo Jingchuan. Find me. The girl's clear and lively eyes widened, and her cherry-red lips also slightly opened. Suddenly, she seemed to think of something and looked at the man across from her with some disbelief. Are you a person sent by the Yin family? No, it's not. Without any evidence, the girl nodded solemnly and said, I'll tell you, you don't look like them at all. And you don't look like they can afford to hire you. Bo Jingchuan. The brain circuits of these two people are so strange that they even got in love, and the special assistant standing silently on the side doesn't know what to say. Bo Jingchuan remained silent. But as Yin Chu looked at the man's face, he felt a sense of familiarity as he looked, and a flash of inspiration flashed through his mind. Are you, Dad? Bo Jingchuan. Special assistants. No, I mean you're the Dad Bo Jingchuan that often appears in the news. Bo Jingchuan. Special assistants. Bo Jingchuan, the big boss of Xiaozhou Group. It is rumored that he started from scratch and started a fierce battle in the bustling shopping mall when he was in his 20s, founding the flourishing Xiaozhou Group today. Xiaozhou Group is one of the top conglomerates in China, with numerous industries covering the entire country, including real estate, finance, information, communication, pharmaceuticals, and more. Due to its thunderous tactics in the mall, it often devours its competitors without leaving a trace, and is extremely ferocious, earning it the nickname, Great White Shark. I have also heard that he has an extremely luxurious and handsome appearance. He is only 27 years old and still single, with a net worth of billions. He has also gained the titles of National Husband and National Dad. Special Assistant's chin was shocked. After all, Bo Jingchuan was the man who founded the Xiaozhou Group, and his whole expression was much calmer. I understand what you mean. He quickly accepted Yin Chu's statement and tilted his sunshade umbrella towards his head, just as a ray of sunlight hit in, revealing Yin Chu's somewhat similar eyebrows and eyes. The man raised his eyebrows and said, but I shouldn't have such a big daughter this year. Sorry, I made a slip of the tongue. Yin Chu also reacted and apologized repeatedly. It's okay, Bo Jingchuan said. To be precise, there is indeed a bit of a relationship between you and me. The man opened his lips again, his tone remained calm and steady, you should call me brother. Yin Chu. Reading Guide, 1. Team Pet Relax Daily Life, Campus plus Business plus Entertainment Circle, plus Micro Facial Recognition plus Light Fantasy, Alchemy and Fortune Telling, Abuse no one but the female lead. 2. As the name suggests, the female protagonist has 5 big brother brothers. All of them. Everyone. No. Yes. Talk. Love. Love. I am so biased and selfish that I do not accept any rebuttals. 3. The female lead is almost 17 to 18 years old and can be in a relationship. With a male lead, I don't listen. The CP I wrote is the best in the world. 4. All affection belongs to the female protagonist, and all sins belong to me. 5. The pre-collection and open copy date of this article is May 20, 2022. At that time, the title and introduction of the book were the same as they are now. It took more than a year to open the main text, which is not the earliest, certainly not the latest. 6. Please do not mention other articles below this article, nor do you mention me under other articles. Please respect each other. Thank you. 7. Welcome to read the completed sweet articles, Black Boy in the Belly of Fast Wearing, and, Beautiful and Sweet Host of Fast Wearing. The author has something to say, the main text is finished. Give it a try. The next pre-collection new book. I became a sensation after getting engaged to a sick and spoiled boss. I don't know if it can be displayed. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. African Sister vs. Black Coal Kiln Brother. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. African Sister vs. Black Coal Kiln Brother. Puff. Yin Chu. What are you saying? Mungbi. JPG. The CEO needs to maintain a strong reputation, and at such times, the Special Assistance brand translation machine will be launched immediately. Lin Xiaozhou said, Miss Yin Chu, what boss means is that based on comparative analysis of gene bank data, he is very likely to be your biological elder brother. Yin Chu. I'm even more confused. Lin Xiaozhou said, this is also something that the boss discovered in the past 2 days. Coincidentally, something happened on your end, and the boss came to pick you up and take you home. The girl's lips were crimson, and Lin Xiaozhou was waiting for her to be deeply moved. Just listen, I've only heard of someone who likes to be a dad, but I didn't expect that there's also someone who likes to be a brother. Lin Xiaozhou. I can't answer that. But Special Assistance is just to wipe the CEO's butt. He has to do all kinds of dirty and tiring work. Lin Xiaozhou immediately took out the prepared materials and said, this is the result obtained by using the latest domestic invention of gene bank matching. It has been proven that the probability of you and the boss siblings is as high as 99.98%. Although this project is still in the testing stage, the gene bank has already matched nearly 10 million sets of data, and the results have confirmed its effectiveness. If you still don't believe it, you can go to the hospital and have a paternity test with the boss now. Yin Chu flipped through the paper in his hand and remembered what was mentioned in the news not long ago, that the country had recently invented a brand new technology. The gene bank. By using hair or blood, human information can be recorded and calculated using the most precise instruments and computing machines. Afterwards, whether it is blood, bone marrow, or genetic matching, it will become extremely convenient. This technology not only has the potential to be used in modern medicine, but also has significant effects in criminal investigation and case resolution. For example, being able to retrieve abducted children and identify victims through genetic comparison is a great benefit for all of humanity. Wait a moment. Yin Chu suddenly thought to himself, why is there my data in the gene bank? She remembers the news clearly stating that because it was still in the testing stage and entered independently, she clearly did not agree. Lin Xiaozhou glanced at Bo Jingchuan, who nodded lightly at him. It was the Yin family who entered it for you. When? Yin Chu asked again. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, it was almost the day when Jin Qiankong was retrieved, and at that time, she obtained her hair and blood to record her genetic data. Which was very reasonable. Lin Xiaozhou carefully looked at the little girl's expression and saw that she did not show a very sad expression. The next second, Yin Chu looked up again. Since it is a national gene bank, it has not yet been officially put into use in society, she pointed to Bo Jingchuan. So why can he know? Lin Zhizhou. Boss is an outstanding entrepreneur with priority use rights. Can it still be like this? Moreover, Lin Zhizhou said, Boss is a lonely family, meets the conditions for gene entry, and has been selected as a lucky user. You can experience it first. Yin Chu. Yin Chu secretly glanced at the man's expression behind him. There was no change. She nodded hesitantly. This seems to be very reasonable. Here, Yin Chu finished reading all the information and looked up at Special Assistant Lin Zhizhou, then at Bo Jingchuan. Her eyes suddenly became clear. Let's talk about it then. Lin Zhizhou wisely stepped back. As a special assistant, he helped the CEO handle things well and then stepped back to the second line, giving up the stage to the big boss. As for myself, deeply conceal achievements and fame. Bo Jingchuan. Sure. Bo Jingchuan walked ahead, followed by Yin Chu. The man unconsciously slowed down his pace and slowly formed a parallel posture with the girl. Yin Chu didn't pay attention and just looked up to see the man's upright side. In the scorching summer, he was wearing a formal suit, although he had taken off his suit jacket. However, he was wearing a white shirt, which was not youthful, but had the mature and sexy qualities of a man. He rolled up his sleeves slightly. When holding an umbrella, a well-defined arm and a straight and slender neck are exposed. Hello, by Yin Chu couldn't help but sigh. Bo Jingchuan. Lin Zhizhou. What? This new lady, what are you saying about tigers and wolves? Seeing the two of them stop and brush at each other, Yin Chu also reacted. She didn't feel too embarrassed and pointed to the umbrella in Bo Jingchuan's hand. Are you afraid of sunburn? I understand. Men also care about their own faces. Yin Chu was very understanding, and as he spoke, he took off his bunny bag and flipped it over. I have sunscreen here that I can use with you. Lin Zhizhou looked at her. Good guy. Just now when I saw you walking in the sun, I thought you were not afraid of the sun. Unexpectedly, some people don't even use umbrellas, but secretly apply sunscreen behind their backs. I don't need it, Bo Jingchuan declined quietly. Hey, you don't have to be so embarrassed. I know there are several boys in the class who are even more refined in terms of maintenance than girls. Yin Chu was still talking incessantly, but Lin Zhizhou noticed a faint sign of blackening on the face of his own boss. He quickly interrupted. Cough, Miss Yin Chu. Yin Chu followed Lin Zhizhou's gaze and saw the man holding the umbrella with his hand slightly tilted. The shadow fell on top of her head, covering the more or less coveted eyes around her. And the man himself is exposed to the sunlight. Yeah, it's for her to support. Bo Jingchuan's eyebrows and eyes were noble and indifferent, showing no tenderness. He glanced at Yin Chu and continued walking forward. I don't want to be questioned. What? Yin Chu followed up. Why am I Asian, but my sister is African? Yin Chu. Lin Zhizhou. Boss, have you even become a venomous tongue? Yin Chudun was so angry that she became a pufferfish. She grabbed the man's hand holding the umbrella, lifted it up, straightened it, and the umbrella enveloped the two of them. Sprinkle a shadow. Exactly. Yin Chu said angrily and loudly as he met the man's deep gaze, I don't want a brother who escaped from the black coal mine either. Lin Zhizhou fell last, looking up at the sky. It's great to have a younger sister. Look, even the CEO has become more lively. This chapter is slightly revised, and roast is not right. It's all my fault. End of this chapter. Chapter 3 Identification Results. There is a blood relationship. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Identification Results. There is a blood relationship. Bo Jingchuan first took Yin Chu to the hospital for a paternity test. Even if it was urgent, the result would take several hours to come out. Then, he took Yin Chu to the mountaintop villa. You will live here in the future. The mountaintop scenery is beautiful. The villa was written with 4 words from the inside out. Low-key luxury. Yin Chu nodded in response, his head somehow short-circuited as he met the man's deep eyes. Isn't this considered a hidden beauty in a golden house? Said in a very low voice. Lin Zhizhou's mouth twitched wildly beside him. As the initiator, Yin Chu welcomed the death gaze of Bo Jingchuan. Stare at, Yin Chu quickly lowered his head and hid his small hands. Gradually becoming obedient. JPG in a moment, Bo Jingchuan said again, I will also rest here at night. This is where he lives, unlike those playboys who buy a house and raise women outside. Yin Chu raised his head. The girl's hair is soft and fluffy, reflecting warm sunlight, making it look easy to touch. The man pursed his thin lips slightly, covered his soft hair with his hand, and also suppressed the girl's open teeth and claws. Has anyone ever told you that you are very cute? Yin Chu was stunned for a moment, his cheeks furrowed, and he said, You said it. Has anyone ever told you that your silent appearance is cuter? Yin Chu. Bo Jingchuan looked at her with deep eyes and said, Let's say a few words less in the future. I'm afraid you'll be beaten to death if you go out. Yin Chu. Bo Jingchuan called her name again, sighed, rubbing her hair in his hand, but his tone was particularly serious. I don't want my younger sister to come back and help you collect the body after only a few days. Revenge is tiring. The new cheap brother always talks to her and breaks the ice. The face of the little fairy of Yin and Chu couldn't hold back, and she saved her head from being pulled out like a radish by Bo Jingchuan's palm. Her hands also tried to push people outward. Brother, it's time to go out and earn money to support his sister. Expressionless. JPG as the door slammed shut, Lin Zhizhou couldn't help but laugh as he witnessed the process of good afternoon. Facing the gaze of Bo Jingchuan, Lin Zhizhou slightly restrained his smile. Boss, I just remembered something interesting. Bo Jingchuan. Oh. Me too. Laugh together. Bo Jingchuan interrupted coldly, Next time we have cooperation with Africa, you can personally take a plane to discuss it. Lin Zhizhou. Since ancient times, a CEO who doesn't fall in love has been constantly taking care of things. Whenever they fall in love, it becomes a woman. The CEO is just my side job. Bo, single dog. President Jingchuan currently belongs to the former. After taking a little care of the people in the villa, I left to talk about huge business worth millions or even billions of dollars per minute. It has to be said that Yin Chu's face, as long as he doesn't speak up, is still very deceptive. As soon as he enters the villa, he is treated as a little ancestor. After eating and drinking enough, she rolled back and forth on the 2.5-meter big bed. Yin Chu, has worn it back. That's right. Yin Chu is a traveler, or did he wear that kind of thing twice? In her previous life, Yin Chu was an orphan who grew up in an orphanage. At the age of 5, she was adopted by a wealthy family. It is the Yin family. 2 months ago, the daughter of the Yin family was lost and could not be found. Lady Yin was deeply saddened by the loss of her beloved daughter, and her husband had to go to the orphanage to adopt another daughter to calm her emotions. I kept it until I was 17 years old, and my daughter really came back. Afterwards, a series of events occurred. The final substitute fake daughter Yin Chu was kicked out, taking only 2 summer clothes and 1,000 yuan in cash. According to the dog blood 8 o'clock time slot, the fake daughter was kicked out of her home and left on the streets, never to recover and scattered into mud, creating a delightful storyline. Tong. Everyone. No have send it. Life. Hey, Hey, less than 2 hours after leaving the Yin family, Yin and Chu crossed over. With a swoosh, I reached the realm of cultivation. The master picked her back to the sect and became the youngest junior sister below, adding a large group of beloved senior brothers and sisters. However, by yesterday, she had accidentally taken a nap while refining pills, and then opened her eyes to travel back to modern times. Only 5 days after being expelled from Yin Chu's family in her previous life. Not at all panicked, walking the plot of the previous life honestly, only waiting for the opportunity to go through the process again and cross back into the cultivation world, and the result suddenly, brother, appeared, and it was time for her to wear it. This is not right. Something's wrong. Yin Chu tossed and turned on the bed, completely immersed in the soft velvet, and suddenly a flash of inspiration flashed in his head. She remembered that 3 months ago, her master had calculated a divination for her. It is said that her close relatives may appear in the near future. At that time, Yin Chu still couldn't figure it out. She had already dressed up in the cultivation world. Even if she had relatives, she was still in modern times. Did the other party also dress up? Or perhaps her family was originally from the cultivation world. Now okay, she came back again. It turned out to mean reunion. At 5:30 p.m., the villa maid came to invite Yin Chu for dinner. Yin Chu went downstairs. As soon as he walked through the spiral staircase, he saw Bo Jingchuan returning. The man took off his coat and handed it to the servant beside him, with wide shoulders and narrow waist, straight and slender legs, and a nearly perfect figure. Upon hearing the footsteps, the man lifted his eyes and looked over. Yin Chu somehow thought of countless domineering CEO novels he had read in his previous life, and now this situation, it's weird. Yin Chu murmured softly, the domineering CEO has to take time out of his busy schedule to come back and have dinner with others. What? This is a script for a petite wife who gets married first and loves later. Far away, Bo Jingchuan couldn't hear Yin Chu's voice, but in the time he met in the afternoon, he had already seen that this new sister was obedient on the outside and had a deep understanding Qingqi. Yin Chu, Bo Jingchuan called out, come and have dinner. Yin Chu is still in a brainstorm and has not responded. Knocking. Bo Jingchuan bent his fingers and lightly tapped at the entrance, successfully summoning the latter's spirit. His thin lips lifted lightly and he said, be aware that you are not 3.5 years old this year, so you don't need me to chase you and feed you food to your mouth. Yin Chu. Not very lethal, extremely insulting. Sit down and have a meal. Bo Jingchuan's eating habits are similar to his feeling of being refined, and noble. As for Yin Chu, after finishing the textbook, I demonstrated to people what a dry rice king is. Her eating movements are not fast, let alone unsightly, but perhaps when the food falls into her mouth, her clear and beautiful eyes will become shiny, giving people the illusion that the food is delicious. Going to be a foodie must be very satisfying. Even CEO Bo used half a bowl more than usual. Yin Chu finished his dessert after dinner and stared at the one beside Bo Jingchuan. When the man noticed it, he asked, want to eat? Yin Chu's little chicken nodded like pecking at rice, it's super delicious. Crazy hints. Bo Jingchuan stroked the edge with one hand, as if trying to push it over. There's a play. Yin Chu's eyes suddenly lit up, and then Bo Jingchuan scooped a spoonful with the other hand and put it in his mouth. In Yin Chu's stunned gaze, Bo Jingchuan said, it's still possible. Thank you for your recommendation. Yin Chu. Stupid-eyed. JPG Bo Jingchuan himself did not like such sweet and greasy things. Perhaps the little girl's accusing gaze was too pitiful, and there was a hint of sweetness in her mouth. She unconsciously ate a few more spoons. However, Bo Jingchuan also knows the principle of stopping when things are good. The man put down the things in his hand, picked up a handkerchief and gently wiped the corners of his mouth, as noble and elegant as a medieval aristocrat. The appraisal report is out this afternoon. Yin Chu looked up at her. The butler beside him walked up while Bo Jingchuan was speaking. With a glance from the man, the butler handed the appraisal report to Yin Chu. Appraisal opinion. Based on DNA analysis results, it is supported that there is a sibling blood relationship between Bo Jingchuan and Yin Chu. As he looked up, Bo Jingchuan's dark and profound eyes looked over and said, "What do you have to say?" Yin Chuzhen said, "Dad." Bo Jingchuan. Servants. Ah, isn't it? Yin Chu quickly changed his mind, "Brother, from today on, you are my own brother." Bo Jingchuan twitched his lips and pushed the newly delivered dessert to Yin Chu. It was originally prepared for her. "Eat," the CEO said in one simple and clear word. Okay, taking a sip, the sweet taste captivated the little girl's eyebrows and eyes, and she smiled beautifully. "Thank you, brother. The sound is sweeter." Bo Jingchuan turned his head to the side without looking at her. His fingertips, which landed on the table, nodded lightly, and the corner of his lips curved slightly in an imperceptible curve. That night, Lin Zhizhou, a special assistant who worked overtime at the company, received news from the former workaholic boss who now learns to leave early. Try to schedule all work before 5 p.m. in the future. Lin Zhizhou. Received. But boss, can I ask why this time? Bo Jingchuan returned very quickly. Accompany my sister to eat. Lin Zhizhou. So, why do people have cheap mouths? End of this chapter. Chapter 4. 5 kills. Just have hands. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. 5 kills. Just have hands. The days at the Bo family are very comfortable. Embracing Wi-Fi again, Yin Chu couldn't help but play King of Glory until 2 a.m. I'm a bit thirsty. The game was still in progress, and Yin Chu went downstairs while playing. However, when he looked up, he saw a figure still standing in the living room. Suddenly, Yin Chu was frightened and met a pair of deep eyes. It's Bo Jingchuan, who drank water from the same place. Double kill. The man's gaze fell into her hands. Yin Chu quickly hid his phone behind his back, but the sound of the game's fight was still clear, and Yin Chu frantically pressed the volume down button. It's finally settled. At 2 o'clock in the morning, the villa was eerily quiet, except for the cold voice of a man. So, you play games until midnight. In an instant, Yin Chu's desire for survival exploded. Actually, I can explain this. Yes, I just arrived here and I'm not very familiar with it yet. I realized I couldn't sleep in bed and instinctively. Haha. With a soft snort, the man reached out his hand. Yin Chu tried to struggle. I'm already 17 years old, not 7 years old, you can't. Facing the man's increasingly stern gaze, Yin Chu covered his face. It's embarrassing to have to be like an elementary school chicken collecting phones at such an old age. The man remained silent and only looked at her like this. Yin Chu stubbornly looked at him. You look at me, I look at you. Half loud. All right. Unable to withstand the pressure, Yin Chu handed over his phone with both hands. At this moment, the little girl would be disheartened, not even the dull hair on her head, as if she had lost all her fighting spirit. The new parent Bo Jingchuan preached, if you know it's embarrassing, don't play with your phone until midnight next time. After a pause. You are 17 years old this year, not 7 years old, you need to have some self-control. The original sentence was returned. Yin Chu. Wheezing, she is not really addicted to gaming, it's just that she has been in the cultivation world for too long and hasn't had the freshness of being exposed to online games for a while. But as the phone was about to fall into Bo Jingchuan's palm, Yin Chu made another feint as if he was about to take it away. And you have to say. Brother, my dear brother. Even if you want to take your phone, you have to let me finish playing this game, otherwise teammates' reports will be banned. Actually, I don't care if I'm banned or not, but I care about team spirit. I'm so sorry to lose one teammate halfway through the game. The little girl thought she had succeeded, but Bo Jingchuan's movements were faster than hers. Her cold eyes scanned slightly, and Yin Chu's phone had already fallen into the man's palm. Haha. Accompanied by a sneer, Bo Jingchuan turned his phone horizontally and covered his fingertips. Horizontally. Horizontally coming over. Yin Chu quickly leaned over and looked on his toes, only to see Bo Jingchuan's hands operating rapidly on the screen. At the same time, intense game sounds kept coming in: first blood, double kill, triple kill, quadra kill, penta kill, killing spree, unstoppable, godlike, legendary. Yin Chu, who was standing up close, said, "Wow. 6666666, the merciless 666 machine." Under the smooth and flowing operation of Bo Jingchuan, the game quickly came to an end, and Yin Chu couldn't bear to reminisce about her deceased phone, let alone hold grudges. Someone with a strong addiction to food and drink stared at this dear brother with starry eyes. "Brother, why are you so amazing? Are you usually playing this game too? Why don't you add a friend? We have time to double row. Don't play." Bo Jingchuan put away his hot phone while rejecting Yin Chu. How could that be? Kai forced Yin Chu to disbelief. "You just did that kind of operation." Bo Jingchuan glanced at her. "Isn't it okay to have hands?" He's not lying. How can a busy CEO have time to play mobile games? The reason for knowing is to watch other employees in the company play during their break time. Yin Chu, who has not inherited any gaming talent at all, is seriously looking towards Bo Jingchuan. When Mom gave birth to us, there must have been some problem with bloodline inheritance. Right. Bo Jingchuan put Yin Chu's phone back into his pocket, quickly heated a glass of milk and pushed it to Yin Chu's face. The man spoke coldly. "After drinking, go to bed quickly." After drinking a glass of milk, the source of all evil was gone. Yin Chu, who had returned to his room, fell asleep and woke up on time at 7:30 a.m. the next morning due to his biological clock. Downstairs, Bo Jingchuan, who also slept late, is already having breakfast. Yin Chu walked over and before she could speak, Bo Jingchuan had already placed a phone on the desk. "Don't stay up late in the future," he said after a pause. He looked at Yin Chu. "It will become ugly." Yin Chu. This reason is very lethal. Got it. Yin Chu was about to take it, but he was stunned and said, "This is not my phone." The butler next to him spoke up in a timely manner, "Miss, this is the new phone that Mr. has replaced for you. Your original phone card has been inserted and can be used normally." The butler of the Bo family villa is completely different from the owner. He is a kind and elegant old man, who looks at Yin Chu with the same gaze as his granddaughter. The small cakes that Yin Chu ate yesterday were all fed by him. "Replace it with a new one." "What about the one I used to have?" Yin Chu looked at the butler's grandfather, puzzled. "It's fine, why do we need to replace it with a new one?" The butler observed Bo Jingchuan's expression and said, "Falling. Broken." "Is it broken?" Yin Chu frowned. "Then those things in my phone. Not to mention the pictures and various apps, at least there should be contacts." "Miss, don't worry about this. Sir, we have backed up the data and imported it into your system. We have also downloaded the apps you frequently use." Yin Chu unlocked his phone to check, and as expected, there was even an icon for King of Glory in the app. Guizi's latest phone, although it was also a Guizi brand phone, it was a year ago with some wear and tear on the edges and a bit hot when playing games. Now that she has changed to a new one, the little girl's eyes curved. "Thank you, brother." Bo Jingchuan calmly enjoyed breakfast. Yin Chu still remembered the incident where Bo Jingchuan confiscated her phone last night. He tried to slide 2 or 3 times before putting it down and started eating breakfast. After a few bites. By the way, Yin Chu put down his chopsticks and felt in his pocket. He pulled out a small brocade pouch with a vintage craftsmanship. The string tugged and fell, and a small, sparkling ball the size of a fingernail landed in the girl's palm, complementing her fair skin color. Yin Chu moved his body and poked Bo Jingchuan's arm, trying to please him. "Brother, it's for you." "Well, reciprocity." Bo Jingchuan looked up and said, "What is this?" "Sugar beans. You can eat it yourself." "No, it's not." The little girl shook her head violently and immediately explained, "This is a pill, I don't need it, it's specifically for you to take." The servants around only found the new lady's words very cute. In the 21st century, with the advent of science and society, what about pills? Even Bo Jingchuan himself didn't pay much attention to it. Yin Chu's next sentence. "I'm serious, brother. Aren't you suffering from severe insomnia? It's best to use this one. I guarantee you'll sleep until dawn after eating." Bo Jingchuan stopped drinking congee and looked up at her. "How did you know?" End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Brother. Unreal. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Brother. Unreal. The man's gaze is particularly deep. Did she find out after taking a photo with her in the early morning? This observational ability, is Yin Chu said, isn't this something obvious? What else can you do if you don't play games and go downstairs without sleeping at 2 a.m.? Also, you have dark circles under your eyes, and those with eyes know that your sleep quality is not very good during this period, right? Bo Jingchuan. I suddenly felt a hint of humor in my serious self. "You use me." Yin Chu said again, "I guarantee that you will suffer from insomnia and run out of sleep. From then on, you will sleep until dawn, which is better than any melatonin sleeping pills. Today here, don't 998, don't 698, don't 398, even don't 98. I'll just fee. Give it to you." After thinking for a moment, Yin TV Shopping added, "People who have used it say it's good." Bo Jingchuan no longer knows what kind of facial expression to make, but her protective sister instinctively goes online. "You sugar bean. Who have all the pills been used for?" Under Yin Chu's gaze, the man was forced to change his title. "I dare to give such things away randomly." Knowing who the person is, it's better for her to take care of the aftermath. "That's a coincidence, you're the first one," Yin Chu said with a look on his face. "You're very honorable." Bo Jingchuan. Under the earnest gaze of Yin Chu, who said, "I gave you this good thing because you were my brother, thank you so much," and, "Piggy eat quickly," Bo Jingchuan's expression gradually became tense. Next sentence. "Do you usually enjoy watching fairy tales?" Yin Chu. "Is it okay?" "Sure enough." Bo Jingchuan took a leisurely sip of water and said, "I understand your kindness." Yin Wu Chu. "Oh, don't be so polite. Don't just take good intentions and take things away." "Hi, who are we with?" Bo Jingchuan's tone suddenly became serious. Yin Chu. "Don't mention today to anyone anywhere in the future." "Don't worry," Yin Chu waved his hand. "The relationship is not in place, and I won't tell him about it for ordinary people." He also said that he was addicted to advertising slogans. "It's not for that reason," Bo Jingchuan said with a light tug at the corner of his lips. Yin Chu. Seeing Bo Jingchuan looking at her, his eyes were particularly dark and profound. "I don't want to see you arrested at a young age for spreading feudal superstition." "What? In the future, I want to see you and you can only go to prison. Paused, visited. Yin Chu. After finishing breakfast, Bo Jingchuan went to the company again. The speed was so fast that it seemed like someone was chasing after him. In the end, Yin Chu's pill, which symbolized the deep affection between siblings, was not delivered. Yin Chu said, "Alas, it's regrettable. It can only be said that some people are temporarily unable to enjoy themselves." That night, Bo Jingchuan urgently went abroad to discuss a cross-border cooperation, and it would take at least a week to come back. Yin Chu bid farewell to his new brother on the phone. "Brother, don't worry about going. I will eat and sleep well even when I'm alone at home, and take care of myself." Bo Jingchuan remained silent for a moment and said, "I'm worried that you might demolish the house before I come back." Yin Chu. "Oh." Indifferently. JPG. The love between siblings is unparalleled today. Let Zhong Bo answer the phone. Zhong Bo is the butler at home. After giving orders, Bo Jingchuan hurriedly went abroad, busy every day with little news, and Yin Chu lived alone in a grand villa of 3,000 square meters, lonely and helpless. Happy couldn't do it. On the 6th evening, Bo Jingchuan was helped in by the special assistant Lin Xiaozhou, and Yin Chu first saw the man's pale face, even weakening his usual nobility by 3 points. Yin Chu took a deep breath. "Brother. Can't he be hollowed out by a woman from abroad?" End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Princess Embracing O. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Princess Embracing O. Butler Zhong Bo. Lin Xiaozhou. You shut up, said Bo Jingchuan, whose face was pale, cough. Just now, Yin Chu's assumption was too terrifying, even Lin Xiaozhou, who had excellent professional skills, had to take a while to recover. Upon regaining his senses, he quickly explained to his own boss, during his time abroad, the time difference was reversed, the workload was high, and he didn't have enough time to eat. He also had stomach problems again. Lin Xiaozhou glanced at Yin Chu and hinted, "The boss came back in a hurry to see you." I thought that upon hearing him say this, Yin Chu would show a moved expression, but I never thought, me. What's there to look at? Yin Chu waved his hand, "I eat and sleep well in China, and everything is fine. Unlike some people. I'm already in my 20s or 80s, and I just make myself look like this without paying attention." Zhong Bo. Lin Xiaozhou. The person involved, Bo Jingchuan, said, That's great. This time, the boomerang hit him. Others. This is different from the imagined script. Yin Chu touched his chin and said, "It's not surprising either. 9 of the 10 CEOs in the novel have stomach problems. Love Kanji takes care of them in turn, and even mouth-to-mouth medicine." But after all, getting sick is also a normal process that drives the development of romantic relationships. Seeing signs of turning black on Bo Jingchuan's face, Zhong Bo couldn't bear to keep looking and suggested, "Sir, in this situation, should we call a family doctor first?" Bo Jingchuan didn't speak. Unexpectedly, Yin Chu waved his hand and said, "Stomach disease, a small problem, just a small problem. What kind of family doctor is it?" A group of people rushed to look at her. Yin Chu straightened his chest and said, "I can cure it." Everyone. I see you really wish he died. Bo Jingchuan looked like this now. Zhong Bo used to be accustomed to Yin Chu, but at such times he knew he couldn't procrastinate and turned around to make a phone call. On this side, Yin Chu pushed aside Lin Xiaozhou. Lin Xiaozhou looked at her slender and thin body and said, "Let me." Before the last sound could be heard, Yin Chu, who was thin and weak, bent down slightly and picked up the 1.88-meter man. Still public. Master. Hug. Lin Zhizhou. Dot. Bo Jingchuan. Dot. Sir. With a snap, Zhongbo's phone fell to the ground, and despite the sound of feed coming from that end, he was stunned. Yin Chu looked at the people around him and said, "I'll take my brother up and rest first. You can do whatever you want. Let me down." Bo Jingchuan's voice in his arms could even be described as gritting his teeth. Yin Chu looked at him with a look of, "Why are you so disobedient, and the child is causing trouble again, just give him a beating." She held a man in her arms, but the slender little girl couldn't feel the weight and said helplessly, "Don't make a fuss." Dot. Is the tone of indulgence inappropriate? Bo Jingchuan's face was black and white. "Let me down," he repeated, afraid that Yin Chu would make trouble again. "I'll go by myself." Yin Chu raised his eyebrows like a playboy. "Are you sure? My hands and feet are still there." Yin Chu let out a sigh and said, "Ah, that's okay." After a moment, Bo Jingchuan still achieved his goal, landing his feet on the ground and being helped upstairs by Yin Chu. Until the figures of the siblings completely disappeared, everyone else in the villa went to work. Cough, I didn't see anything just now. Zhongbo really became more refined as he grew older. Lin Zhizhou is also pretending to be blind. Ah. What? Did something happen here just now? Go over for a while again. Do you still need to call a family doctor for the gentleman's stomach disease? Dot. Either. What do you think? Do you want to? After a long silence, Lin Zhizhou spoke again and said, "Wait a little longer. It doesn't seem like the boss was in severe pain when he left in the end. Besides, Yin Chu is taking care of him now. My younger sister is always harmless." Right. Zhongbo gave him an approving glance and said, "You're right." So, the two happily reached a consensus while hiding their ears and stealing bells. Sigh. Nowadays, being a subordinate is the most important thing. It's better to turn a blind eye. New book release, seeking collection, comments, ratings, and recommendation tickets. See you tomorrow. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Dominant CEO. Soft and delicate little wife square root. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 7. Dominant CEO. Soft and delicate little wife square root. Third floor bedroom. Bo Jingchuan was so powerless that he was suppressed back to bed by the strange girl Yin Chu. With a tug of the blanket, it was completely sealed. Dominant CEO x soft and delicate wife square root. Yin Chu's strange power came from nowhere, but unfortunately, Bo Jingchuan was in a weak state and couldn't really control her. Perhaps even after recovering from her illness, it couldn't compare. The light is slightly dim, highlighting the warmth of home around. Looking up, he met the eyes of Yin Chu, who said, Look, you're not sensible anymore, and, brother, if you don't listen, just give him a lesson." Bo Jingchuan felt that not only his stomach, but also his head began to ache faintly. "The sugar I gave you." "Ah no, the pill." "You didn't take the pill I gave you, did you?" Yin Chu almost twisted and quickly turned back. Bo Jingchuan looked deeply at her, maintaining the last bit of elder brother's dignity. "I'm sick, but that doesn't mean you can continue to promote your feudal superstition," he said. "Your dad." "Oh no, your brother will always be your brother." Yin Chudang was full of anger and breathing heavily. She generously waved her hand and said, "I don't argue with people who are sick and confused." Yin Chu. The delivery person came in and only heard Bo Jingchuan's angry voice. Everyone trembled, but Yin Chu ignored the man and ordered, "Let's leave the things." Yes, the servant put down the things, turned around, and ran away. Well behaved. Just now when the young lady was performing, hugging brother and killing, downstairs, they were all unprepared and accidentally. I dare not look too much now. Although melons are delicious, life is even more precious. Yin Chu brought over the cup of warm water, crouched down and handed it to Bo Jingchuan. Here, take the medicine. I didn't know that Bo Jingchuan was so angry with her all the way, that the nerves in his head were jumping. In contrast, the pain in his stomach was much lighter and less unbearable. The man lowered his head, his dark eyes scanning the water cup held by Yin Chu, and didn't start. Yin Chu instantly understood. Oh, my goodness, this is making a scene. Brother, don't be angry. Yin Chu maintained his gesture of handing water and tried to reflect. After a moment, he came up with a plan and only listened to her soft voice coaxing. Dalong, it's time to take the medicine. Bo Jingchuan. Cough cough, a slip of the tongue, it's big brother. Big brother, it's time to take the medicine. Bo Jingchuan. As the younger sister spoke more and more excessively, Bo Jingchuan couldn't bear to listen anymore. He turned around and glanced at her, finally taking the water glass she handed him. Yin Chu hummed and hawed. If I had known this would have happened, it's better to surrender from the beginning. He runs away, she chases, he can't fly with his wings inserted. Bo Jingchuan. You shut up. Yin Chu remained silent, but when Bo Jingchuan took the pill from the other person's hand, he felt that it was round and smooth. Round and smooth. Looking down, isn't it Yin Chu's beautifully colored sugar pill? Bo Jingchuan. Don't you give up yet. Bo Jingchuan's stomach began to throb again, and he had no strength to argue with this unreliable sister. He directly touched his phone to call the butler Indiana. I don't want to. Yin Chu moved faster. Just as Bo Jingchuan was about to speak on the phone, Yin Chu raised his hand and stuffed 2 pills into the man's open mouth. Bo Jingchuan was surprised to see that before he could say a word, Yin Chu held his hand holding the water cup and poured warm water into it, forcing him to swallow it. Fingertips rolled down Bo Jingchuan's throat, and it was evident that the pill had already entered his stomach, and Bo Jingchuan's phone unknowingly fell into Yin Chu's hands. Sir, came the voice of the butler Zhong Bo. Under the surprised gaze of the man, the girl's expression was gentle and obedient. It's me, I accidentally pressed the call button. I have already instructed my brother to take stomach medicine. What he needs next is rest, company matters. My brother instructed me to let Lin Te help handle it. Please work hard, thank you. In the living room, the sound of hands-free driving came clearly. Lin Zhizhou, who followed Bo Jingchuan abroad to discuss cooperation and had not had much rest, said, I owe you siblings, right? This chapter doesn't feel quite right. I may take some time to revise it tomorrow during the day, and I will start climbing the list tomorrow. The minimum guarantee day for this book is 3,000, end of this chapter. Chapter 8. Xiaozhou Peeling. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Xiaozhou Peeling in the bedroom. Bo Jingchuan stared deeply at Yin Chu, who hung up the phone and threw it back onto the man's bed, taking 2 steps back. It's quite accurate, it didn't hit anyone. The heavy object fell, and Bo Jingchuan didn't even look. His gaze remained on Yin Chu and he whispered, come here. Yin Chu hesitated for a moment and said, I'm afraid. Bo Jingchuan suddenly smiled. He was a serious ruler, and his noble and cold demeanor was even more frightening. Yin Chu. QAQ, what are you afraid of? Bo Jingchuan said, I don't hit anyone. Yin Chu's general was skeptical and said, really? Bo Jingchuan said, now I can't beat people like this. Yin Chu. So, do you really not want it or cannot it? After hesitating for a moment, Yin Chu took small steps and approached Bo Jingchuan with a little spirit. She lowered her head, with a fair face and clear eyes. Her soft black hair naturally drooped, except for a dull hair on her head that remained unyielding and raised. The voice is also soft and gentle. Brother, what else is there? It looks exceptionally well behaved. But it's just a matter of appearance. What did you give me to eat just now? Asked Bo Jingchuan. Sugar beans. Yin Chu didn't want to say, after all, Bo Jingchuan didn't like her mentioning that. The man turned his head and gave her a silent glance, his domineering CEO exuding an astonishing aura. Speak up well, he said, Dan. Dan medicine. Bo Jingchuan. What's the difference between blue sugar beans and black sugar beans? For example, in terms of efficacy. Yin Chu pondered and spoke, color. Bo Jingchuan. Seeing the man's eyes turn sharp, Yin Chu softened and said, I'll tell you what. The man gave a look and said, speak up. Blue is a body-warming pill that circulates in the body after ingestion. It helps regulate the functions of various organs in the body, such as treating your stomach disease. Black is more ordinary, it helps you sleep. Take one and it will help you fall asleep within 10 minutes. No refund. Bo Jingchuan. What should I do if my younger sister is becoming more and more of a prodigy? Urgent. 10 minutes have not yet arrived, and you cannot feel the effect of the sleep pill at the moment. Although the warm body pill is said to be nourishing, its effect on body pain is immediate. Brother, do you feel that your stomach is feeling much better now? It's not that painful anymore, is it? The girl looked over, her cheeks proud and excited, stained with a layer of red. Her eyes were bright and sparkling, like stars in the sky, falling in front of him. Sprinkle the brilliant starlight of this room. Bo Jingchuan was taken aback. He did feel that after being forcibly pressed upstairs by Yin Chu, the pain in his stomach had improved a lot compared to before, but the girl's expression was so proud. Bo Jingchuan thought for a moment and looked at Yin Chu with some pride. I thought I was angry with you. Yin Chu. I was so angry that I forgot about the pain. Yin Chu. Yin Chu doesn't want to talk to him anymore. Seeing her like this, Bo Jingchuan felt that educating the little girl should not be suppressed blindly, so he complimented her by saying, you just entrusted all the company matters to Lin Zhizhou for the time being, you did a good job. Yin Chu jumped up. Wow, the capitalists' ugly faces have been exposed. Down with all evil capitalists. Down with Zhou Pipi. Bo Jingchuan gave her a slanted glance, and the man's tone was light. What you can eat, live, and use now is all earned by capitalists, he said after a pause. Strictly speaking, you are Xiaozhou peeling the skin. And there's also, end of this chapter. Chapter 9. Brother must live long for 100 years. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Brother must live long for 100 years. Bo Jingchuan raised his eyebrows and said, Xiaozhou Pipi, do you have anything else to say? Yin Chu took 2 steps back, her face full of disbelief. She made a gesture of covering her heart and mouth, I'm guilty. Suddenly, she had a stern and upright expression on her face. Indeed, capitalism harms people greatly, and the evil money corrupts people's hearts. If there is still this opportunity, please make sure to come towards me. I am willing to bear this pain alone. Bo Jingchuan. Bo Jingchuan silently turned his head, his thin lips unconsciously curled up, and the dark and profound radiance of his eyes flowed. Yin Chu regained his senses and went to look at Bo Jingchuan with a serious expression. Brother, when I mention this, I'm going to talk about you. Bo Jingchuan. Sigh. Yin Chu sighed and immediately advised, money can certainly solve 99.9999% of the troubles in the world, but it is also something that cannot be earned. You should pay more attention to protecting your body in your daily life, don't have a bunch of problems at a young age, sooner or later you will age. Bo Jingchuan. Moreover, family companionship is more important than making money. Bo Jingchuan looked into Yin Chu's eyes, and a warm color gradually appeared. Yin Chu said, I'm here to enjoy my brother's glory. I don't want to take on the responsibility of supporting the elderly at a young age. Ha ha ha. Bo Jingchuan. Bo Jingchuan. Come here. Yin Chu. Bo Jingchuan. I promise not to hit you. Yin Chu. I suddenly had a chaotic conversation with Yin Chu, perhaps it was really a long time of continuous rotation, and suddenly relaxed. After a while, Bo Jingchuan gradually became tired. After Yin Chu finished speaking, he never heard the man's response. Brother. She approached and saw Bo Jingchuan leaning against the bedside, already asleep. At this moment, the man's overly deep eyes closed. At first glance, his eyelashes were quite long, casting a shadow on his cold white skin. His black hair, which had been combed back and exposed on his forehead, naturally scattered, with some curled up slightly at the eyelashes. Expose a touch of softness. The introverted sharpness of the past has faded away, and it is no longer the luxurious appearance of putting oneself in a cabinet like that. Yin Chu looked at it for a while and had to admit that Bo Jingchuan's appearance was still very good. You really deserve to be my biological brother who has blood relations with me. She effortlessly tucked Bo Jingchuan back into the blanket and carefully tucked in the corner of the man's blanket. Not the reckless posture of suddenly embracing the man and princess downstairs. Before getting up, Yin Chu brushed away the strand of Bo Jingchuan's forehead hair that was draped over her eyelashes, making the man sleep more comfortably. She smiled. Brother, you want to live a long life of 100 years. Yin Chu left the bedroom and met Zhongbo, who was guarding outside. The company was busy with affairs, and Lin Jizhou had already returned to handle it. Zhongbo asked, "How is the situation now, sir?" Yin Chu was caught off guard and saw a strange young man beside Zhongbo. "This is Mr. S' personal doctor," Zhongbo introduced. Mr. S' body has always been taken care of by him. I saw that Mr. S' expression was not very good before going upstairs. Although he brought stomach medicine, he was still worried. So I contacted Dr. Zhou to come and take a look. Yin Chu nodded knowingly and said, "Well. But my brother is already asleep." Thinking about the effect of his pill, Yin Chu symbolically paid attention. "Be careful to keep your voice down when you enter." Sleeping. Zhongbo and the private doctor were both surprised. "What's going on?" Yin Chu thought for a moment and said, "I'm too tired. I probably passed out in pain." Zhongbo, private Dr. Zhou. I always feel that people with close relationships suddenly call themselves XX classmates, XX children, Super Su. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Brothers and sisters, talking about emotions hurts money. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Brothers and sisters, talking about emotions hurts money. The next day, Bo Jingchuan woke up feeling refreshed as never before. As soon as he opened the door, Zhongbo was guarding the door, seeming hesitant to knock and call him, as if he had finally made up his mind. Upon seeing Bo Jingchuan come out, Zhongbo was surprised and said, "Sir." "What's wrong?" the man asked. Zhongbo respectfully replied, "Yesterday when you returned to the bedroom and I called Dr. Zhou over, the lady said that you had fainted from the pain. Later, Dr. Zhou examined you and said that there was no problem with your body and that you naturally fell asleep. And now, you have been sleeping for nearly 16 hours. I am worried about you." Bo Jingchuan only realized that it was already 10 o'clock in the morning. Bo Jingchuan was also surprised. He is a person with extremely self-discipline in his daily routine. For many years, waking up at 6 a.m. and sleeping until 10 a.m. is completely unbelievable for his biological clock. "Sir, how do you feel? Do you want to call a private doctor over again?" Bo Jingchuan didn't even need to feel it. "Very good, no need to call Zhou Qiaomi." He suddenly thought of the two-colored sugar beans that Yin Chu forcibly fed him yesterday. Let Zhou Qiaomi go to the company headquarters during the day, said Bo Jingchuan as he went downstairs. Zhong Bo bowed and bowed. Yes, sir. At this point, Yin Chu clearly had already had breakfast. At this moment, she was sitting on the sofa in the living room, holding an ice cream in her mouth and playing games in her hands. In front of her was a glass of juice, blowing air conditioning, and living a happy life. Bo Jingchuan took a turn and walked over. Yin Chu fought fiercely without noticing anyone approaching, until a shadow cast over his head and he looked up. Good guy, the director of the Internet Addiction Prevention Agency is here. Yin Chu quickly hid his phone back and looked up at Bo Jingchuan with a well-behaved and good-looking smile. Brother, are you up? Did you sleep well last night? Bo Jingchuan quickly glanced and saw that Yin Chu's screen was black, and his record was also unsightly, with a score of 1.13.2. He didn't hesitate about this. Not good. How could it be? Yin Chu couldn't even care about the game in an instant. As soon as he heard that there was a problem with the pill he was refining, he couldn't help but argue with the other party. The man gave her a faint glance and said, I heard I was so angry by someone yesterday that I fainted for over 10 hours. Who said that? Yin Chu's gaze was sharp as he looked at Zhong Bo behind him, but Zhong Bo had been serving in the villa for many years. What a skilled old man he was, he had already run away with oil on his feet. Bo Jingchuan reached out and said, bring it over. Yin Chu handed over his new phone with a painful expression on his face. Well, that phone was also bought by Bo Jingchuan. It's not this, Bo Jingchuan said without looking. Yin Chu looked up in shock. Didn't you help me play games? I'm in a hurry to advance to the competition. Bo Jingchuan looked at her with 4 eyes, helpless. Despite his sister's pitiful gaze on the attack, Brother Yen, Bo Jingchuan didn't even eat and helped her finish the promotion match. The praises of Yin Chu's 666 and amazing throughout the entire process echoed like a surround sound system, echoing non-stop around the man. At least at this moment, it's quite comfortable. Yin Chu leaned forward with a dog-like expression on his face and said greedily, there are a total of 3 rounds to advance to the competition, and I've beaten all of them. Why don't I beat all of them? Bo Jingchuan glanced at her sideways. In an instant, Yin Chu withdrew his neck and said, no need, no need. Sure, said Bo Jingchuan reaching out his hand again, spreading his palm upwards, reward. You're such a capitalist, you're actually blaming your sister. I knew that unscrupulous capitalists never have a heart. After a moment, I saw that Bo Jingchuan had no intention of retracting his hand. Then you can return my phone first, and I'll transfer the money to you, Yin Chu whispered. When she came out of the Yin family, she didn't bring anything with her. Now, all the money in her account is pocket money given by Bo Jingchuan. On second thought, it's like using Bo Jingchuan's money to buy Bo Jingchuan for business. She's really a capitalist. You may make a small profit, but I will never lose. No money. So what do you want? Yin and Chu were all prepared to cut their flesh, and everything was worth it in order to advance from stubborn bronze 3 to stubborn bronze 2. Bo Jingchuan also said decisively, you gave me it yesterday, sugar beans. Yin Chu stood still in place. As a practical user, although that thing is still known as sugar beans, Bo Jingchuan naturally knows its uniqueness and wants to ask Yin Chu to have 2 more tested by professional medical personnel to see what exactly is here. Is Yin Chu aware of this? Sure enough, this sugar bean is not ordinary. Can it be that Yin Chu gave this thing to herself twice? Does that mean she still cares about her brother? Bo Jingchuan felt a slight warmth in his heart. He was about to say that he could help Yin Chu play a promotion match when he had time, but he suddenly breathed a sigh of relief when he saw Yin Chu. It's okay, just don't talk about money. Bo Jingchuan. Suddenly, there was an ominous feeling. Oh my, talking about money between siblings can hurt our feelings. Brother, you should have said this kind of thing earlier. Yin Chu waved his hand extremely generously. It's just a pill, isn't it? As you are my own brother, take whatever you want. Bo Jingchuan. Bo Jingchuan said, I remember my company has something else to do. You can go play your own promotion competition. Yin Chu looked at him puzzled. You just said it well, why did you suddenly change your mind? Bo Jingchuan sat there, clearly sitting together on the sofa. The man had a straight back and slowly stretched his slender limbs, even his ordinary posture appeared particularly noble. He sneered, his expression extremely cold and noble. After all, talking about emotions between siblings can hurt time. Yin Chu. End of this chapter.